Hello and Happy New Year. It's 2025. Wow, how did we get here, huh? I hope you had a great New Year. And I was asleep early and then got woken up by the fireworks all throughout town. And the most amazing show was basically right from my bed. I didn't have to get up or do anything except look out the window. So that was pretty fun. That same thing happened last year. I guess last year was the first New Year's Eve that I was in my house. So I was expecting it, and it was fun. You know, the fireworks are horrible for wildlife, for dogs. I don't know if cats seem to mind it as much, but it just runs so deep in the Panamanian culture. They love fireworks and use them for every holiday, every special occasion. Sometimes you'll just hear them going off at 3 or 4 or 5 in the morning on a weekday for no rhyme or reason. Anyway, it is kind of one of those contrasting things about Panama, especially in El Valle, where we're supposed to be promoting ecotourism, and you know, we have all the fireworks, and then there's gas-powered ATV tours instead of like battery-operated ATV tours that would be less of an impact on the wildlife and on the environment. But you know, that really kind of sums up a lot about Panama. There's a lot of just, you know, contrast here. And that's part of what makes it exciting and fun. So anyway, for this video, I wanted to share, like, I think I have 10, 11, maybe 12 things to do in Panama City. So I haven't actually done all of these, but I would like to. And one I will never, ever, ever do. All right, so let's get into the video. These are in no particular order, but I'm gonna start first with the Panama Canal, the Miraflores locks. There is another set of locks at the Caribbean side of the Panama Canal, which is also very interesting. So if you're in Colón, Portobello area, go check out the locks on that side. The Panama Canal has been in the news lately because the president-elect of the US has threatened to take over the Panama Canal. I can assure you the Panamanians would never, ever let that happen. The Panama Canal will remain in Panama's control as it is legally deemed in a legally binding treaty. So if you want to see this magnificent wonder of the world, it's actually one of the 7 wonders of the world, go to the Miraflores locks. There's a schedule on when you can see the ships transiting through the canal, which is amazing. It's really fun to watch that. And at the visitor center, there are you know, displays, there's a gift shop, and there's a movie. It's kind of hard to tell sometimes, like, when these things are actually open and when they're not. Sometimes the website doesn't mention that the displays are closed, or sometimes it might not mention that for some reason the visitor center is closed. But give it a try. Maybe it'll be open. Or maybe the hotel where you're staying might have good information on whether the visitor center is open. And of course, you can always sign up for a tour and do a tour of the canal. There are a lot of tour operators. You can do a canal tour and then go to Monkey Island, all sorts of combinations. So definitely check out the Panama Canal and the Visitor Center. The second thing I have on my list, and I have not done this yet, but I want to do it, is the hop on, hop off bus. I saw one of these when I was at the Amador Causeway, and my friend Elaine had said that when she moved into the city, she did one of these tours, and she said it was great fun and an easy way to get around and see all the different sites in the city. So the link will be in the video description. And from what I understood reading a little bit of their website, it looks like you have like 48 hours to use the time that you have on the ticket that you purchase for the hop on, hop off. So if you're in the city for a few days, you could, make it a 2-day thing where you do part of it one day and then part of it the next. But that looks like a stress-free and fun way to see the sights of Panama City. The next on my list, this would be number 3, is the Gamboa Rainforest Discovery Center and Monkey Island. The Rainforest Discovery Center is run by the Eugene Eisenman Avifauna Foundation. So the main goal is to conserve the birds throughout their environmental and sustainability projects throughout Panama. There's an observation tower that you can walk up and observe all sorts of birds. This is also close to the pipeline trail. That's the trail that I walked on for a little bit until it started raining, and you can hear the howler monkeys, which is a little bit spooky, but also kind of fun. I think I hear the rain coming from that way. And you can hear thunder, and it's a little eerie because you can hear the howler monkeys in the distance. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's rain. So I'm gonna have to put my phone away. But this is a really cool trail. It's very well marked. It's wide, so you don't feel like snakes are gonna pop out at you. And this is also close to the Gamboa Rainforest Resort, which is a great spot to escape the cityness of Panama City if you need a little break. It's only I think it's less than an hour from Panama City. And there are tours that you can do. Obviously, a lot of tour operators will offer tours that stop at these destinations, but you can also just go on your own if you have a rental car and explore. So again, the links will be in the video description, and you can check out the times and see if that's something that you want to include in your visit in Panama City. So I don't talk too much about Monkey Island because there is a little bit of debate and discussion as to whether it's actually healthy for the monkeys to be on these islands. They didn't used to be islands. The monkeys were free to, roam around as they do. But when the waterway got flooded for the canal, they just basically got isolated onto the islands. So I'm 50-50 on how I feel about it. It's fun to see the monkeys. I don't like how the boats rev their motors to try and make the howler monkeys be vocal. And I don't like how the guides whistle continuously. And of course, I wouldn't like it if it was not good for the monkeys. So that's up to you at your discretion. Number 4 is one that I have not done yet, which is Ancon Hill. So interesting history about this. For about 75 years, the Panamanians had no access to this land because it was part of the canal zone. So that is why when you hike up this hill, there is a huge, massive Panamanian flag proudly waving on the top of this hill. It's also part of some pirate history. Henry Morgan, the pirate, used Ancon Hill as a lookout for other pirate ships. It's supposed to have a beautiful view of the city, and it's also just an interesting piece of history. I think it's pretty fascinating how many pirate stories there are in Panama, especially on the Caribbean side. So if that interests you, Panama is definitely a place to check out. Number 5 is one that I will never, ever in a million years do. This is called Poin Panama. It's ziplining between skyscrapers in Panama City and walking on a glass bridge. No. But if you're an adrenaline junkie and you like being scared out of your mind, go ahead and check out Poin Panama. Never in a million years would I do this. Of course, I don't know, maybe when I'm 75, I would do it, or 80. Who knows? If it's even still around, I don't know. It sounds like such a liability business. I'm not sure that I would I don't want to do that. Number 6 is the Amador Causeway. So just recently, I actually spent time there, but in the past, I'd actually been there for a concert that was at the theater building that's on the Amador Causeway. But it was at night, so I didn't really pay much attention to what was around. But this place is so much fun. People ride their bikes along here. It's family friendly. There's places, for kids to play. And there's lots of vendors with cool beverages and snacks. There's the famous Biomuseum. I have not been to that yet, but people who have visited the Biomuseum say it is a must-see. And it was designed by Frank Gehry, the architect. There's also a Smithsonian Nature Center that has very high marks for quality of experience. I have not been there either. So those are 2 things that you can check out on the causeway, but there's also just great people watching, and you can walk along the causeway. You can find restaurants and shops. There's even a duty-free shop down at the very end, which is also where you would catch a ferry to get to the islands, the Pearl Islands, and also to Toboga. So there's a duty-free shop. It's just filled with activity. You can watch the boats in the harbor. It's at the mouth of the entrance to the canal, so it's just got a lot of vibrant energy where the ships are, coming in to wait to pass through the canal. It just had a great vibe to it, and I would highly recommend taking a little bit of time to go check out the Amador Causeway, even if you don't go to any of the attractions, just to walk around and enjoy a couple of hours. I hope the wind isn't too much, but I don't have my little microphone on. But I'm walking around the Amador Causeway, and I've only been here like twice before, once to catch a ferry to Toboga, and another time, I think I was here another time just like driving around. But it is so fun. There's so many different places to explore. There's restaurants and shops and duty-free, and I think the cruise ship terminal is over here, and there's snacks and good people watching, and people riding and renting bikes and walking their little dogs. And just a great view of the city skyline. Number 7 I have not been to, but it is the Bahai Temple in San Miguelito. This is said to have a beautiful view of the city, and it's also just a nice, quiet and natural spot to go sit, bring a book, maybe do some reading, writing, meditating, pondering, whatever it is that's kind of quiet and contemplative. It's open to the public, and the hours are posted online. It's also just an interesting building structure, kind of looks like a large egg that's coming out of the hillside. So that would also be an interesting feature to go see. Number 8 is the Metropolitan Park in Panama City. So this is on, I guess, like the northern side of the city. And I actually went here when I had to bring my car into the dealer in the city. And I went to the El Dorado Mall and the Metropolitan Park because they were kind of, if I recall, in the same area. But I made a huge mistake. I went to the mall first and got an amazing foot massage. And then at like high noon, I went to the park and walked around. I was carrying like a heavy bag. It's hotter than heck. And I had just undone everything that the nice foot massage had given me. So do the Metropolitan Park in the morning or in the late afternoon. And I didn't see a lot of wildlife because I think in the heat of the day, the animals are smart and they're resting. But if you go in the morning or in the late afternoon, you can see monkeys, sloths, and toucans. Number 9 is Panama Viejo. So when people would tell me that they were going to Panama Viejo, I thought they were saying that they were going to Casco Viejo. But Panama Viejo is a historical site that's located in Panama, and you can see a lot of the ruins, I believe they're Spanish ruins that are here, that have a lot of historical significance. I haven't been there, haven't visited, but apparently it's a pretty sprawling array of the ruins, and I think there's a small museum there, and you can go with a guide. That's something, again, on my list of things to do next time I'm gonna be in Panama City. It's funny, in high school, like I really didn't pay any attention to learning history, and we were learning mostly European history and American history, and I just found it kind of boring. But now I think it's just kind of fascinating, especially living here in Panama and just the vibrant culture that's here and learning about how Panama really became this melting pot of so many different cultures. In Panama City, you want to make sure to check out the Cinta Costera. It's a walkable part of the coastway between Casco Viejo and Punta Patilla. And people exercise there, they dance, they work out, they walk, they run, ride bikes, rollerblade, and there's vendors, and it's just great to people watch. It's very safe. There are, there's a good police presence around, and it's best to go either early in the morning or later in the afternoon into the evening because it is hot during the day. Number 10, Casco Viejo, not to be confused with Panama Viejo. Casco Viejo is such a gem. It's just a feast for the eyes and soul and stomach. Great restaurants, beautiful architecture. There are preservation groups that have been working tirelessly to preserve and restore some of these old ruin structures that you can find throughout Casco Viejo. So that is definitely a place to spend some time walking around. There's a few museums there. The Canal Museum and the Mola Museum are worth checking out. And there are plenty of rooftop bars. One of my favorite buildings is Casa Costco that has like 5 floors, I think, and 4 different restaurants. So there's a restaurant on each level, and at the top is a rooftop bar and restaurant. But there are other rooftop areas, and you don't have to drink alcohol You can have a nice sparkling water like I usually do. And some of them you might need a reservation like on the weekends, but during the week, even in high season, it might be okay, to just pop in. Just kind of have to see how busy or crowded they might be. There's just so much beauty around and really great people watching. So Casco Viejo is a must-see when you're visiting Panama City. Number 11 is a restaurant called Fung. If you like dim sum, this is a high recommendation. I don't even know what part of Panama City it's in. I just put it in the GPS, went there, ate till my heart's content. It's a great experience, and there are other dim sum restaurants, but this one was highly recommended. It does have high ratings, and I thought it was delicious. So that is my last recommendation for Panama City. So that's my list. What's your list? What have you done in Panama City that you might recommend to people, or where you take guests if you live in the city? The other thing I guess I would mention is a really great way to escape the heat is to go into any of the huge malls that are spread throughout Panama City. So that is it for this week's video. Next week, I'm gonna have 2 properties for sale that are in Casa Bonita, which is a condominium tower in Playa Bonita. So we'll have that coming up next week. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.